Okay? Try to come in one more time. How's everybody doing? This is Clifton. Try to come in right now. I'm on the phone with somebody, okay, and I'm trying to get my guests. So try to come in right now, okay? All right. This is Assalamu alaikum. This is Clifton Raheem Bradley of the Underground Railroad television show in Chicago. And the show that I'm doing today is I have a police officer that lost his job, and he is attempting to get it back. He has been fighting. He's been fighting for years to get his job back. And he was fired unjustly. He was fired unjustly, according to what he says, and he has evidence to prove that. I was astonished by the evidence that he showed me. You know, the evidence is overwhelming because, but like I said, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get him on to talk about this particular issue, but he appears to be having some type of problem, a difficulty with his camera, which has taught me a valuable lesson that before you even do a show, you should set up, you should get your sound, together. Everything. That is something that you should do. But what happened is I'm going to send him the link one more time. And like I say, and to the audience does choose to look at this, I apologize because you know what, I was under understanding that his camera was hooked up to his computer, so we wouldn't have these problems. But they say things happen, and everything happens for a reason. Everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send him the link again. You probably say so he can come to it. And like I say, this is what's going on in Chicago. Okay, I'm going to send it to him one more time and hope that he comes in. But this is what's going on in Chicago at this time. I do a television show entitled The Underground Railroad, okay, and we do a show on the 29th of October, and it comes on at 10:30. I'm sorry, it comes on at 6 p.m. Central Time on Can Television. And I have the police officer's name. His name is Vincent Davis. And he has been fighting to get his job back for like about 20 something years. That is a long, long time to make an attempt to get your job back. And I'm going to do what I can to help him to David Cars. He did every day, every time reporter. Yeah, that's my co-host. Me and him do a show, David Carson. You know what? Always support the brother because you know what? He's doing great work. He's doing great work of working to enlighten and to wake up the people by giving them knowledge. You know, we do a show sometimes on Monday or Tuesday. One day we have it scheduled. I'm talking about where we would just come on consistently. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call my guests and ask them what is wrong, because I'll be saying busting them out. Okay, I just sent you an email, and all you got to do is just press on the link, brother. I just sent it to you. Okay, uh, so I'm waiting on him to call, and he said that he's having some type of technical difficulty, and he has a story to tell. And people often ask me, man, why are you just interviewing people? Why are you just interviewing somebody? Like I interviewed somebody from my Islamic mosque. And they said, man, you could have got the imam on, or what you would call as a preacher. But I said, no, I'm interested in getting people on that might not get the opportunity to speak under normal circumstances. That it is because I had used to be one of the individuals that used to sit in the back of the room. Okay. And I guess he does not want to show his face. He's having a problem with the difficulty. How you doing, brother? Okay. You have to turn your sound up, my brother. Cannot hear you. Cannot hear you. Got to turn your. You have to turn your sound up, man. You have to. Okay. Cannot cannot hear you. No. You know there's a sound issue, which there's a sound issue with your computer, and you know what? They cannot hear you. I'm going to turn it all the way up. Can you say something now? Hello? Yes. So there's okay, there's some type of sound issue that is going on with him, and you have to, Mr. Davis, you have to turn the sound up, okay, in your settings in your computer, so that microphone could be accessed. And I can't hear you. So therefore, if I can't hear you, that means the individuals that are listening to this broadcast, they can't hear you either. So it's like defeating the purpose. But we understand that these are machines. But this this is a gentleman that has been fighting to get his job back for 30 years. And you know what? He's a Chicago police officer. And I have to say something, me myself, I don't I don't believe that I would have battled that long. And I'm going to put his sound up. He has come back in, and his picture is up and his name is up. And how you doing, Mr. Davis? No, he have no sign. I remember, I remember when me and my co-host David Cost, we got started. We was having a hard time configuring everything, but you know what? It takes time. It takes time. And like I said, even before you do a broadcast, you should prearrange it where you should prearrange it where your guests come in early, so you can be pre-prepared for issues like this. That is something that's something that you have to do. So this is a show that was scheduled, and looks like I'm gonna have to end. Yeah, hello. Yeah, yeah. I mean, but The thing is, your microphone is not working on air because you got to give access to it, and you had to give access to your microphone.
Professor
You know,
Vince Davis joined.
uh, yeah, hello. No, I cannot hear you on your end. I cannot hear you on your end. You can't. So he's on. He for those that are looking on the net. You don't know what that are looking on the internet on my social media platforms. I am talking to the guest, but for some reason there's a technical difficulty that he is having because his name is coming up, but his picture is not. His a facial picture of him is not showing, and there's no sound coming from the computer. So hey man, I don't know. So you just have to troubleshoot, and I guess we just have to, because you can hear me, can't you? Okay, but the thing is, your computer is not like I said, it's not showing an image, and you can't hear the sound. I don't understand, but I
Professor
guess
Vince Davis
that's the
joined.
way you know did something again, and there's still no image, and there's still no picture. So you know what? You know what? For the audience that is listening and took time out of their day, I want to apologize to y'all for the technical difficulty that was no out of my that was out of my control. I want to apologize to y'all because you know what. So that's something I'm talking to the guests right now, but that's something you have to work on with your computer. Because, like I said, people on the internet, I'm getting a message they can hear me, but they can't. And that's earlier, they could not hear you. So we have to reschedule this. Okay. Yep. All right. We have to reschedule this. Okay. All right. No, they're looking at me right now, but like I said, I cannot see you. I hear you on my screen. So you need some updates. You need some updates to your computer. So let me get on off and tell the people thank you for tuning in anyway. Okay. You're welcome, sir. So again, to people that for people that tuned in, Um, like I say, I am sorry because, like I said, that was the intent to have a guest on, a police officer that has been fighting tirelessly to get his job back for 20 years. But I will be doing a live show with him, Mr. Vince Davis, in Chicago on CAN TV, cable access. That is his telephone number that you could call if you had a question for him about how he lost his job, how the police department did, Chicago Police Department did him. And like I said, hey, there's somebody from the old neighborhood. Hey, how you doing? Sister, I got to have you on as a guest one day. You know, come on, let's set up something so we can hear things from a woman's point of view. You know, she's from the block, man. She's from the neighborhood, and Joey and all of them. I remember Big Joe. Big Joe was the guy that what gave a lot of advice to people that lived in the community when I lived on 96 and Bishop. They lived on Winston. And Big Joe, hey man, he was a good guy. Him and Miss Donna, real good people, real good people. That's all I can really say. And then Harris is next door. It's real good, real good people. And let's set up a show. Let's me and you set up a show one day and talk about the way things used to be, and talk about how things have changed. Okay, yeah. Tell everybody I said hi. But you know what? I'm gonna have to end this broadcast because again, I want to apologize to the individuals that tuned into this show and allocated time out of their schedule. I even took a couple minutes on Facebook and YouTube, but there was technical difficulties on his side. And you know, you're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I'm glad to even be, associated with the Abrams, with the Harrises that live next door to you, with Joey Weaver and um, Preston and Pee Wee, who lived next door to you. He's gone now. And the Loves, Robert Whitehead, and Darlene, sister that what's her name? Darlene that lived over across the street. Helena, BB, Billy Wandick. I was happy to be, associated with people like y'all. And they just don't make a lot of people like that anymore. We used to say thank you and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. And your brother Joey, oh man, he knew he used to beat me up. He used to beat me up. But he was the lead. He was the leader of our crowd. He chastised everybody, but you know what? He had to keep everybody in line. He had to keep everybody in line. And I remember being at the Abrams house, just sitting up. We could talk about that now. Being him and Pee Wee and Dwayne Love and Steve Love, man, we would be sitting up listening to Boosie Collins. Hogan Weed, that's back in the days. But see, y'all Job can't do nothing against me since I'm semi-retired. But that's over like about 40 years ago. We would be sitting up listening to Boosie Collins. We love Boosie Collins, and we would sneak and listen to Richard Pryor tapes. But that was what those were the days where if somebody got in a fight, we never talked about pulling out a gun to try to hurt somebody, to try to kill somebody. You know what? We had these. And you know what? Actually, after it was all over, shook hands. Actually, we became friends. I think one of the I'm telling on myself now. I think one of the baddest fights that I ever had. Now, you remember Ray McAfee. Ray McAfee lived in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, around, I'm not going to say close to 96 and Bishop. And man, you know what, back then, I was scared of him. I was scared of him. He'd be like, man, empty your pockets. I say, okay, brother, okay. And you know what? I laugh about it now. And then one day I said to myself, man, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm not going to take it no more. Just not, you know? And I said, what's funny is, it was funny to me. It might not be funny to you because you know what? I felt like my life was in his hands. And you know what? I went home. I did push-ups. I did jumping jacks. Being animated. I did pull-ups. I was like trained. I was like Rocky Balboa. I was training, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to take this for many, many more. One day he said, empty your pockets. I said, nah, brother. I said, them days are over with. I said it in a meeker voice. I said, those days are over with. Everybody head. He said, what did you say? I said, those days are over with, brother. And he said, you know what that means? I said, yeah, man, you know what? I know you got a fast right and a fast left, but you know what? But I'm gonna stand up for myself. Because you know what? Even if I lose, you know that you won't be able to have the ability to take any money from me ever again. And so I was like, hit me in the jaw. I hit him in the jaw. Because you know what? I guess all that training and working out, it helped me. I couldn't beat him under normal circumstances, but I didn't win. We was down on the ground. He we was down on the ground and he hit me in the eye. But you know what? I still just kept on fighting. And you know what? What happened is Ray McAfee. What happened is after we got through fighting, you know what? We became friends. You know, we became friends. And you know what? He never messed with me ever again. Never did. He started picking on other people. But the thing is, you got to stand up. You got to stand up for yourself. Back then, I was weak and puny, but that was the reason why I started doing jumping jacks and pull-ups and all that, so I could deal with Ray McAfee. But Ray McAfee was a hell of a fighter, and he was a bully in my neighborhood. Actually, he was like a couple blocks away. He's a couple blocks away. I don't think he was on. He lived in Donna Shaw's community. He lived like a couple blocks away, and like I say, man, but he got killed when he got older, because I think they say he got killed down south because he was trying to bully somebody. But the thing is, you have to stand up for yourself, because if you don't stand up for yourself, you know what? It'll be people waiting in line to misuse you and to exploit and you know, I'm just sharing a little story, and you know what? I know somebody say, "Man, don't nobody want to hear this. You don't want to hear this," but that's the block. That's the block that I used to live on. I used to live on Bishop, on 96 and Bishop, and you know what? Some great people there. Great people there. But like I said, the sister who tuned in, her father had a garage where, you know what, man, they would be back there drinking and having a good time and going fishing. And like I said, those days, Big Joe, those days are gone. Those days are gone. But you know what? These were like older people in our community, and we would go around them and try to hang around them and hang and gain knowledge. And I'll say the names and people that lived in that area. They knew Harold, Bo, and Mr. Love, and I forgot Mr. Williams' name. They used to call him Dirty Bird. Yeah, all those people, man. All those people. Glenda Barnett. Hey, man, I had two children but you know what? All that. Those were the days, man. Those were the days. Like I say, we might have done we did a little wrong, but not, it was not too, hey, I love hearing these stories. Oh, man, I love this thing. I love them. And you know what? Like I say, Pee Wee, I would say, it's always, he was real close to me. He was like best friend. But you know how, like when you get older, you move on. But he was always somebody close to my heart. And what's funny is I still drive around, like if I'm feeling like a low point or something, I would drive around the community and just think about the times that I had walking up the streets with Joey Abrams, him being our leader. What's funny is we didn't know nothing. We was all looking at Joey for guidance, understanding, and he was great. He's a great guy, as far as I'm concerned. I think he's with the CTA, but he might be retired now. Mr. Handbrick. I remember Mr. Handbrick told us, man, we could all get jobs at the CTA. He could help us back in the day when you get help like that. But the thing is, Joey went down there and he got the job because he knew Mr. Handbrick. And he held on to the job because of his own knowledge and his own consistency of going work. And I think the Loves moved to California. I'm still in Chicago. The Warren Dicks, they moved to California, Vegas, and Toogie moved to California, and Preston is my main man. We talk on the phone. Actually, I got to get him on the show. I got to get him on the show. I'm going to invite him. And like I say, Miss Abrams, you're invited. Let's have a show. Let's just talk. Let's just talk. But like I said, this is what I do. Even though the background is like that, but this is what I do. I got to get some more lighting in here. But this is what I do. You know what? I produce television shows in Chicago, and the name of my company is called Shamar Media Productions, and I love making television shows and filming events. It's not on the grand scale where I'm making millions of dollars or nothing like that, because I don't want to get on here perpetrating. Because you know what? I hate. I have a strong dislike of people that think more of themselves than what they are. Because everything I have, from my kufi down to the sweater that I have on, is by the will of God, by the will of Allah. Everything, you know? Oh, when I come home, I always go to the neighborhood. Joey, yes. Joey is retired. Yeah, man. He enjoying that retirement, and he enjoying that check. And you know what? When you retire, hey man, you got a reason to brag. You got a reason to talk about it. But like I say, always praise God. Always praise God for anything that good that comes into your life. Praise God that he's retired from the CTA, because that's a good job, But like I said, I have a strong dislike about people that brag on themselves and talk about how much they got and they beat their chest. You know what? I listen to people like that. I listen. But you know what? It shows me something about them. And those type of people I really don't want to be bothered with. But that doesn't mean that I'm disrespectful or anything like that. I listen and have to step away. I have to step away. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention Tony Spicer. Yeah, he was a guy in the community. He didn't take no mess. And little Tony. Yeah, and Jughead. Oh man, who I missed. He tried to go swimming and he died. And he had a back problem. He is committed to a wheelchair. And one of my best friends, Albert Love. All these, yeah, I miss all that. And hey, Kevin, hey, Grand Rising, y'all right, brother? But Kevin, you know what? I've been trying to get you on the show forever. One day, perhaps you'll come on and we can talk about the prison system and we can talk about Joe Biden. But like I say, all these guys, man, all these guys, they were just something else. But like I say, things change. I don't think this show is gonna do too well. But you know something? If one person watches the show, so be it. You know what? Because sometimes, like to say the guest that was scheduled to come on, sometimes things just don't work out the way you anticipate. But you know what? But we plan, but Allah plans. God, and Allah is the best planner. So it gave me an opportunity to reminisce about what, people that lived in my neighborhood. And you know what? I used to always remember, when it was time to go in, we didn't have no beepers. You got the message when it was time to come in. I used to always remember on Bishop, on 95th Street, 96th Street. I used to always remember Robert Whitehead's mother. And she would just holler out, Robert, Sheila. I forgot her other sister. It's time for y'all to come in, man. But you know what? We had to be out. We had to be. A lot of us had to be in front of our houses before the lights went on. That's before they had a beeper. That's before they had a cell phone and all that. And you know what? Times have just changed. Times have just changed. And you know what? Our young people, they'll never know those days. You know, I look around the old hay that around my old neighborhood. Oh, I must be, I must be making having somebody else reminisce about the neighborhood. You know what? When I drive past a park now, I remember we used to go out and play softball, and I don't see kids doing it, not on the level that we did it, and girls playing hopscotch and they're playing double dutch, and me, Joey, and Steve Love, and Dwayne Love, and all these other people, and you see, even Joe Miller used to play softball actually on the corner where I lived at. And man, my parents said, don't hit the window. We tried not to hit the window. We would always hit it, and it was a vacant lot, and we always hit the ball over there. And but I don't see kids doing it like they used to. I talked to some kids. Some kids are scared to go outside because of the gang violence. And that is sad, you know. Yeah, she just put a message here. When the lights came on, like what she's saying is, once the street lights came on, we had to come in. We didn't have no people. We didn't have no cell phone. You know, we didn't have no Googles. We didn't have no Yahoo. We didn't have no Facebook. But you know what? But there was more respect. There was more respect for your parents and more respect for elders. Man, I see these young kids to where they talk back to their parents. And some of these parents, I just don't get it. I just don't understand. They try to act like they are the parent and the child or the young person try to act like they're best friends or something like that. And you know what? For me, once it becomes like that, that person that you're losing, they lose some type of respect for you. When you start drinking with them, you start smoking with them, then they start cursing at you. And then you know what? I see some things that are done that I would have never did. You know, like when my father asked me to do something, I did it not. It wasn't like, you know what, I'll do it when the television show is over. I'll do it when I'm ready. And you know what? That's because you have become friends with somebody that you are trying to raise. You're trying to train them because once they get in the workforce, it's respect, first of all. They're supposed to do what their bosses tell them to do. But what happens is you get buddy with them. You start drinking with them. You start cursing with them. You accept them walking into the house with their pants pulled down to their butt. I don't understand it. But you know what? That's not the type of generation that I come from. You're supposed to respect your parents. When your parents tell you to do something, you ain't supposed to be, you know, man, I get to it later on at the television show, you know. It's like that. You're not even supposed to be talking to them like that. And, you know, grown man. And I will say, actually, I don't think that I ever even cursed in front of my parents. I don't think so because you know what? I look at this as being very disrespectful. I look at young kids in the show. I'm talking about the store having a temper tantrum because you don't buy them something. And you know what? I don't understand it. But I'm from a different generation. You gotta remember, I'm 60 years old. But how things have changed. But y'all, you know what? Sorry things didn't work out the way I wanted it. I'm not gonna say sorry things didn't work out with the guests. But like I said, Kevin, Miss Abrams, all these people, I don't like to have them come on my show. In the live stream with me to talk about the way it used to be and talk about the way things are now. But this is the show I do. I do a television show called The Underground Railroad, and we come on every Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. Central Time. And me and David Koss, we do a show sometimes on Tuesday or Monday. Twin my eye because I'm trying to think about it because what's what happened when you get old. You see all this gray I got. And we talk about global, local, and national issues. So I'm going to end this broadcast, and like I said, that telephone number that was for the guests to come in, but that just didn't work out. That I apologize for. You know what? Because that technical difficulty that was beyond my control. Okay, so I apologize for that. So I want to tell everybody that looking at this, may you have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening. Because you know what? It's no telling. You don't know who's looking at this show. And you don't know where they are, and you just don't know. But this is Chicago, the United States of America. So thank you. And a salute to everybody in the old neighborhood. Abrams, Harris, Love, Whiteheads, Herlina, BB, Tony, and all of these people. Guy named Tubby, he used to be Mr. Williams now, and Donna Shaw, Linda Barnett, Ray McAfee, the guy I used to fight with. He's gone now. Little Tony, Greg Robinson. You know what? All them guys. And Briggs. Somebody they used to call the Eggos. They were twins. Damn, somebody look and say they probably forgot about them. They were two twins, man. And you know what? I had to fight both of them one time, but you know what? But we became friends. And Danny Alexander, whose parents used to own a store called the Goodie Bag. You know? And I'm sure I'm forgetting some names. And Joey Weaver, Stephanie. Say hi to all of them. And who knows, they might not even get a chance to see it. But I'm thinking about them and I'll talk about them because you know what? They meant something in my life. That's all I can say. So y'all take care. And may God bless y'all. Till the next time. Thank you. Peace.